You know how there are like literally men who get convicted for pedophilia or like R-wording a baby or like get caught trying to like screw a tree or something? This is a really bad way to start it, but all I'm saying is some boys out there will literally do anything. Male validation is so useless that they can be like turned on by like the holes of a cheese or the word hole in general, like hole. Hole. If you're a man, your dick is probably up. The Wonderful Beautiful Podcast. Know this? Even though we know that, you know, male validation is a bad thing and we shouldn't do all that stuff, it's so much easier said than done. How do you catch yourself when you are like unknowingly trying to obtain it or enjoying it? Because I don't think there's like a way for you to like completely like remove from your entire system to like stop enjoying it. Like enjoy is like a stretch. For lack of a better term, I'm gonna use the word enjoy, but like there's like a little bit of it still feels good. And it's still different when it comes from a man compared to, I don't know, another gender. But like why? Like why are we like this? Like I'm trying to like think of it in like the people around me or myself. I'm like, is it daddy issues? Is it familial issues? And like I cannot try to like dissect each and every person's childhood or like the things that like happen in their past that could possibly affect why somebody or a woman or even a man were to like enjoy, again, for like a better term, male validation. So I'd like to think that it's a systemic thing. Obviously, it's a systemic thing. Pretty much a collective experience. It's not an uncommon word that you would probably pass by. But I think like society is very like used to kind of shaming femininity. It could be like in a very low or like how do I say it? Like shallow way. Like for example, like it's somehow always cooler or more respectable for you to like male or like masculine things stereotypically, you know, obviously like you shouldn't gender all that like interests and shit, but like a lot of the times things that are stereotypically masculine, it's a lot cooler for you to be like interested in that stuff, like fucking like sports or like I don't know, like even like okay, I have a friend, his name's Joshua. He pointed out this thing to me once and it always stuck with me all the time. He always says that why is it cool if a girl dances like something more masculine? It's like maangas or something. But then it's not like, sometimes maybe like if you're part of the gay community, you'd automatically think, oh, gay. But like a lot of times it's like, cool. Like she's able to do like cool, like maangas. I don't know if you know what maangas means, but it's like cool moves basically. But then like if a man were to do like something more feminine, it's always like, he's gay. Disgusting. Like, why? It's not bad guy, or like, it doesn't look good on like a man to like dance like in a feminine way. Or like even in sports, like for some reason, if a woman isn't interested in sports, they're gonna be like, oh, do you know this rule or whatever? Like, well, for me, I fit into that stereotype because I know absolutely nothing about sports. I will literally sweat from going up the stairs or going from my bed to the bathroom. I know nothing about sports, but you know, I feel like that's also like kind of like the birth of the pick me, because it's like, I'm gonna reject things that are stereotypically feminine, or I'm gonna shame people who are stereotypically feminine and bring up all of these somewhat masculine things because society-wise or like interest-wise or like even in your group of friends or in the environment that you're in, maybe that's like something that makes you like somewhat more respectable. And obviously I do not subscribe to that idea. I don't even think there's such thing as a female dominated industry. Like even if you say like, people who are domestic helpers is a female dominated industry, but like I am familiar with like, you know, like I have a friend who's an au pair and she literally talks about how like, she's gonna get replaced by a man because there's this man who's like sporty and muscular, and you'd think that the job of taking care of little children is stereotypically going to be very beneficial for women who want to be in that job, but sometimes it's not, you know? And even in art, like people like to say that art is girly, or like pursuing like painting and like, I don't know, film and fashion is like some kind of, is somehow a girly thing because it's art. But that's not true. Like most winning directors are men. Most people who write women's stories in film are men. Like the top painters that you know of are men. I don't know, like somebody tell me what a give me an example of a female dominated industry. There's not even prostitution, because people in prostitution, like, that's still a huge debate. Because like, yes, maybe you're empowering yourself, but you're also selling your body, and it's still for the male gaze. So like, anyways, completely out of topic. I'm just saying, if somebody can give me an example of something that is a female dominated industry, amazing, fantastic. But I don't see one, because I think that the world in itself is still very male dominated, and the patriarchy is still very much there. But anyway, I feel like that like source of male validation is kind of like a way of survival. What does it look like? Like, what does striving for male validation look like? And I think, for one, it can happen to not just women, but it can happen to men, and of course the gays. And that's how, like, for example, with men, like, fragile masculinity is such a huge thing, because they always, a lot of the time, they also crave male validation, because it's like, I don't know, it's like embarrassing to be feminine. Like, I don't know how men work, because I'm not friends with any men. I'm friends with like 2 straight men. But like, there's like, I saw this thing where it's like, some women will literally tell their boyfriends, I am actually very happy with small penises. And then men will really find it in themselves to say, nope, I cannot accept that. Nobody wants a small penis. But like, come on. Sometimes women are like, I like it smaller because it fits my coochie more, or it's easier to eat. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just saw this TikTok that literally says a lot of times it's more convenient to have a smaller pee-pee. But then men will really push that it needs to be a big pee-pee. And sometimes women don't even tell you that, because you guys are just like one-upping each other with your dicks. How many times did I mention dicks in this? Like, I'm not trying to like be raunchy, and all I'm saying is, even in close relationships, it's not even about impressing their girlfriends. It's more of like impressing the people around them, or impressing their own, I don't know, like male god that they have in their brains, or like their friends, or all that stuff. I think when we value male opinions over women, I mean, that's already like kind of like the dictionary meaning of male validation. Obviously, there is a problem when we do that, when we value male opinions more than women's opinions. But that's not to say that women's opinions should be higher up there. But I think obviously what feminism is like, you want things to be equal, right? But when we purposely reject stuff that aren't necessarily bad, but out of like fear of shame, or trying to adapt to the world around you, or, you know, trying to get more liked, or, you know, dare I say, validated, that's when the problem lies. Because you can definitely like masculine stuff. I'm not saying that, oh, everybody who likes masculine stuff, like, I want male validation. That's not what I'm saying. I feel like I have to make so many disclaimers about things, because people like to like push things that I literally did not even say. But anyways, I'm gonna try not to over-explain shit, because I don't need to explain why sometimes y'all are dumb. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying that liking masculine things automatically makes you a pick-me, or somebody who is like, I don't know, just craves male validation. That's not what I'm saying. But when you know, have to sacrifice things that you like, or somebody has to purposely shame femininity, or shame things that are associated with being girly, then that's where the problem lies. Because, you know, like, even in close relationships, for example, I don't know, if you have a boyfriend or something, if you're a girl and you have a boyfriend, I always see girlfriends playing video games with their boyfriends. And that's not to say that only men play video games, but I just notice that girls love to adjust for their boyfriends. They like to do activities that their boyfriends like to do. Sometimes I very rarely see that with like the other way around. Like, I don't see boys like caring about fashion or makeup or astrology or Taylor Swift. And sometimes they do that and expect like such a huge reward. Or like girlfriends would be like, oh my god, he did makeup with me, he went shopping with me, he talks about Taylor Swift with me, and like it's such a huge badge. Like your boyfriend is such a trophy boyfriend because, wow, he actually partook in an interest that you like, or one of your interests. Meanwhile, you have to do that all the freaking time. maybe that's something that you do. That's just something that I've observed with straight relationships. I think that there should be like a compromise, you know, like it should be equal. Like, why are you spending like money on Mobile Legends or League of Legends or whatever, like freaking legions of Minecraft? I don't know anything about video games, but like, why are you spending that much time and he's spending absolutely no time giving a shit about your interests? Hopefully, that just applies to a few people. But you can see like how even in close relationships, we put these like male egos or like the egos of men at a priority. They're like on top. And I think when we tolerate or make excuses for like these like behaviors, or we enable this phenomenon of wanting male validation and like putting male validation at like the highest standard, like while it's present in like basic shit, right? For example, like splitting the household chores. You know, when husbands go like, oh, I'm babysitting, my husband is babysitting our baby today. And I'm like, how are you babysitting your own kid? That's your own freaking kid. Or like, oh my god, the famous debate of going 50-50 with like dinner or something, like splitting the bill. That's an entire like different podcast because everybody has an opinion about that, but I have a very set opinion on that. And I think whoever invites for the date should be the one to pay for it. That's all I'm saying. Don't go like, can I go on a date with you, and then like expect them to pay for it? You invited me. You asked for my time. Why am I gonna pay for? Okay, I'm getting out of topic. But you know, it's in really basic shit. Even though it's like the smallest things, it manifests in like gender roles and like these bigger conversations about like labor within the household, and then resentment and all of these relationship dynamics. And not even just like in a household or within relationships. It's like, as I said, workplace or in school. For example, like, y'all know those like teachers, like those like teachers who prefer like the works of the boys. Oh my freaking god, I remember when I was in freaking high school, it pissed me off so much. Before Canva was a thing, your girl had to Photoshop everything herself. Like, there was no Canva, there was no like software or website that would help us. Like, I had to learn that shit from scratch. And then I remember there would literally be boys in my class who would pay like me, or no, I never did anyone's fucking homework. I don't have the time for that shit. But I would have like friends who, or like classmates, and they would be girls, and they would be the ones like making, for example, like graphic design related works. Like I remember like making like stupid poster for Arling Pandipunan or something. I remember it very well. And I was like, there is no way this idiot did this himself. And of course he didn't do it. Like, some of these idiots don't know how to do shit, and they just pay women to do it. And then for some freaking reason, the moment a man does something a little bit above bare minimum, they get higher grades for it. Oh my freaking god, it pisses me up to an extent I cannot even verbalize right now. I'm literally sweating. Okay, there was like this one time I helped a significant other. I'm not gonna say who, but we aren't together anymore. But I remember like checking their paper. They were like, oh, can you check my paper for me? I just want to check it, whatever. Double check it. And like everything is like full of dead ass like grammar mistakes. Like there's literally a squiggly line underneath that, my dude. How are you not adjusting that? It takes like 3 clicks. You have Grammarly. How are you not seeing this? They're like applying for college or something. And I don't know. They're applying for something big. And then it's full of typos. The spacing is like so stupid. There's like different fonts. And like, it literally looks like it just got pulled out of somebody's anus. Like literal, it looks like shit. And me, I don't know, I'm very controlling. And I don't like when a document, even if it's just a document, I don't like when it looks ugly. And that paper, like at face value of not even reading it, was just ugly. And I'm like, and they got accepted to it. And I remember thinking like, how? If I submitted something like that, with the name Angel Veridiana, like with the girliest name ever, Little Angel, Little Miss, like sounds like a code name for a prostitute name. Like I would not have passed. It just wouldn't happen. And that also happens with students, by the way. There's like also students who like, talk shit about teachers or professors. And sometimes the professor, like, they're just funny, or they're not even exactly like organized, or they don't meet deadlines, or I don't know, they're not they do a good job, I guess, at their job. Or but I see like some, female teachers out there. I can definitely think of like professors or women who are teachers in my life who I think work so hard. Like they make like little PowerPoints, they make like these like tables, and they make sure everything's organized. They make sure they have a hook when they present something. They have, they do the works. And there are just some male professors or male teachers out there who don't bother to make a PowerPoint, who don't know the deadlines with things. Like they don't even know like what holiday, they don't know the schedule of the school. They don't know shit. And I'm sitting there like thinking, how did you make it this far? Like, do you know what's going on? Like, honestly, like, do you know what's happening at the moment? It's like sometimes you just wake up and think, shit, I have a teaching job today. And there are just girls or like female teachers out there who make like the most beautiful outlines, make the most engaging like PowerPoints, and they really like, they give a shit, you know? Anyways, I'm going into a full-on rant right now. But while those things like are, it comes from the family, and then there's systemic stuff like in school and in the workplace, it can develop into something a lot more serious, like harassment, And I watched this video. Maybe I'll link it down below. Like, remind me if I forget to. It's like a school of life video, and it talks about like trauma. And it says, hear me out, okay? It's a little far-fetched, but something about, for example, a parent hitting their child or screaming at their child. A child isn't gonna think, oh, this parent is hitting me or like screaming at me because this parent is a bad parent, or they don't know any better, or they're an imperfect parent. When you're the one being traumatized, you're gonna think, oh, I'm being hit and I'm being yelled at and I'm being abused because I deserve to be. And if, in relation to male validation, if you are continuously somewhat like subliminally taught that your opinions don't really matter, or their opinions matter, their thoughts of you matter, then you're gonna internalize that, not thinking about, all the shit that we discussed before, like about patriarchy and all that shit. That's not what you're gonna think of. You're gonna think, shit, I'm hurt. And even if you are so rational and you're so like well versed, like I know that I'm what I'm worth and all that shit, I know that that's not true about me, it's still gonna hurt. It's still gonna sting even a little bit, right? And it hurts much more since it's coming from a man. Have you ever tried to defend yourself in a room full of men? Or like being in a fight with a man? Like for some reason, like you can really feel that this is not an equal playing field right now. Not because you're smarter, but simply because it is an unspoken rule. Not really a rule at this point, but it's like an unspoken phenomenon at this point that men will always hold a heavier sword. What? What did she say? Sword? You know what I mean. Like, for some reason, their shit, the things that come out of their mouth and their actions are somehow always so impactful. And like, even when they cry, oh my god, I have a little side rant that I want to talk about. You know when boys cry and they're like, oh, boys, like, they don't get to cry because, like, boys are socialized to be strong. They don't get to show emotions. But the moment a boy cries, everybody's gonna be like, oh, he's so vulnerable. Oh my god, he's so brave for finally like showing how much he's hurt or showing his emotions. And for girls, somehow it's so much more normal to cry or to show emotions. And therefore, somehow a man's tears will always be heavier. Like, I cannot fathom like all the times like people would defend a man and say, he was hurt too. You know, he doesn't cry, but this time he cried. Like, bitch, how many times has he made other people cry? Or like, oh, I know your father is abusive, but he cried when he hurt you. What the fuck you mean, dog? Don't you think I was crying when he hurt me? I know he cheated on you, but like, he's really hurt and he really feels so regretful about hurting you and he's crying right now. Bitch, I'm the one who got cheated on. Why do I care about his tears? Why is his tears somehow more valuable than mine? It's not clicking, dog. Anyways, so they're like, you know, like more serious things, not just cheating, but like, you know, abuse. Like, deadass, like if an R wordist, it's an R word that rhymes with the word grape. I don't know why I'm still censoring this. I literally said dick like 13 times in this podcast, but like, the moment like an abuser steps on a court, like, I don't know, like the panel, what do you call it? It starts with a P. It's not a podcast. Like a podium, and they're like, I know, like I deeply regret it. Like somehow people are still like, aw, I'm sure he's an abuser, but he regrets it. Okay, anyways, I'm done with it. I'm done with that. Like, let me move on from that. Let's move on to how the hell do we stop this? I know that there's no completely stopping it. Like, there's no like little button that you can click and think, okay, I don't need male validation anymore. That's not a thing. But I do have a proposed solution or a proposed mindset for people who struggle with it. And that is being a girl's girl. Hear me out, dog. This is not, I think being a girl's girl is not just in a sense of like in a love triangle. Ew, I hate that. Like in a mistress, is that what's called home wrecker situation. I don't think that that's just it. I think we need to reflect on all the times that we are not being girls. So like personally, admittedly, I have been a whore in my past. It's so embarrassing, but I am guilty of it. I know that there's like some instances, not a lot. I'm not running around stealing other people's men, but like I admit that there were times that I knew that a man was not being loyal to their girl and they were not being loyal to them through me. And in my head, you know, I was when they talk, okay, what usually happens is like talk shit about their ex, right? Oh my god, it's gonna make me sound like such a dick, but at least I'm admitting it. This is already my apology video. Not that I'm in an Ariana Grande homewrecker scandal or anything, but like what I'm saying is usually what happens is they say that their ex is crazy or they're having problems or whatever bullshit. Like they have like that notion. And I'm not innocent. Like I know that it's somehow wrong. But the thing is, okay, let's just give it more context. I was young, okay? I was like in high school? Like, does it still count? Am I still canceled? But like, I was really young, and honestly, I lived off male validation. Like it was bad. Like I feel like I was with people simply because it just made me feel good to be with somebody, and that's so problematic. But that's not the point here. What I'm saying is, now that I am not an idiot, I look back at those times because before I would think, oh, their ex is crazy or their girl is crazy and why is she jealous? We're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing wrong. It's not like we're flirting. It's not like we're making out and like I'm not breastfeeding him or anything. That was my mindset. And then I look back at it right now and I think, you know what? If I were her, I'd be fucking pissed off too. Like, I'm not gonna pretend like, even if I'm gonna pretend to be like a cool girl or something, I'm so cool. Like, I don't get jealous or whatever. Like, sometimes what happens is a man will tell you that their ex is so crazy, and that even if they're not doing it on purpose, but that already conditions you to think, oh, like, that's a turn off for boys. And in turn, you are unable to really set boundaries or to say your piece when, your boundaries have been kind of like violated, or when you are violated, because they have expressed multiple times that they don't like it when women complain. And the thing is, that whole incident could be avoided if you were just a girl, if I was just a girl's girl, Like, if I thought to myself, if I put myself in her shoes, this is actually kind of fucked up, Like, why, you should validate it. If somebody's uncomfortable, if somebody's boundary feels like violated, then you should probably like back the fuck off. Or obviously you think about it like, oh, maybe that's not the case. Maybe they really are quote unquote crazy. It is just a red flag though to like call your ex like crazy and all that shit. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is true. And maybe we can all like measure and like see if this is effed up, or if this is effed up, or if somebody has the right to be bothered, or if we're purposely just trying to make excuses for somebody, or we're trying to like play stupid or play naive because a part of us kind of enjoys something. And I fully admit that there are parts of me that just really enjoy attention. I'm an attention whore. What can I say? But I'm done with that. I no longer crave validation. It also goes like a different, like in other ways. Like sometimes you get accused of not being a girl's girl, even though you are, or like you're just looking out for a girl. Like, those like viral tweets. I don't know. They're probably not viral anymore. I'm like not on social media as much as I used to be. But like those girls who would like send their girlfriend, or like send like screenshots of a man flirting with them and then finding out they have a girlfriend, and then the girlfriend is like, fuck you shouldn't have posted your bikini pics in Boracay anyway. And then people are like, why are you mad at the girl? That also alludes to them not being a girl's girl. Like, maybe we need to start believing women when they say, I think your man is making moves on me and it's making me uncomfortable, or like it's something that you should know, rather than attacking them. Like, obviously that does hurt the ego, right? Because we value male validation so much, and if this man finds her cute, then that makes me feel bad because I'm supposed to be the only one you find cute because I'm the one in your relationship with. That's the very much basic agreement of having a relationship, at least a monogamous one. We have to believe women. Like, when somebody might just have the best interest for you, it's something that we need to like, again, like measure or see, like really decipher for ourselves, like really check ourselves if we are being supportive, or if we're letting our ego or our thirst, for lack of better term, of male validation is the one that's really speaking louder. So yeah, there are so many ways. I feel like I've been talking for like 30 hours now, but there are so many ways that male validation can be in your life. And I just have this little suggestion, and it is to be a girl's girl. And that I feel like that is the best way that you can really counter it. Because you can say that, oh, I don't need male validation, I'm just hot and pretty and I'm just confident and all that stuff. And while that's good, for me at least, I don't think that is the most sustainable like source of motivation to like not crave male validation. How many times did I say that? Male validation in this video. But like I feel like that's not the most sustainable way. For me, it's always more sustainable to look at things in a more wide lens, in a wider lens. And like, it's not about me. It's not just about me. It's about all women. And dismantling how society has conditioned our brains, or making like little steps, because I feel like if I make steps, it's gonna make like a little domino effect. Maybe not like a huge domino effect, but hopefully it, you know, it like influences others. And like call people out when you feel like they're not, their heart isn't in the right place, or the voice that they're speaking from isn't in the right place. Because I think that at the end of the day, if we don't, it's the patriarchy that wins. And we don't want that, you know? Anyways, I think I'm done now. That's all I have to say for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, I think I'll be focusing more on podcasts because I just cannot make like full-blown videos right now. Otherwise, I will literally lose my mind because I have so much shit to do. Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoy like more of these like sit down conversation, even though I'm not talking to anyone, I'm just talking to myself. But sometimes I will be talking to other people. That's all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. And I don't know how to do outros. Outro! The wonderful, beautiful